I scroll from here. In 10 minutes, we'll be reviewing. We thank you for your time. My name is Recovery Manager Stella Okoribo. Can we hear me? Can anybody hear me?
It's sharing the screen already.
Can you unmute and answer if you can hear me? We started, Doctor started this lecture with the introduction the first day by explaining to us on what we needed to do to be certified in this course. Then the second day, we started with the lecture proper, with the curriculum. Understanding recovery management. And we talked about recovery. We said for us to understand recovery management, we needed to know what recovery actually is. So who can actually tell us what recovery is? What is recovery? And I'm going to call a name, or if nobody is answering, I will call your name. Recovery manager, Jennifer. Recovery, what is recovery? Recovery manager, Jennifer, can you talk then? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no.
We did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, recovery managers. Morning. So, recovery manager Jennifer Bridget, about resources. Recovery is the process of gaining, maintaining, or improving a person's physical, emotional, mental, social, and functional well-being after experiencing a challenge like addiction, trauma, crisis or difficult life situation. In recovery management, recovery is not simply getting better, it involves helping a person recognize what has happened and understand their situation, stabilize their emotions, behavior, environment, and daily function. Develop coping skills to manage stressors and triggers, build supportive relationships and healthy routines, prevent relapse by identifying warning signs and having a response plan. Also regain purpose and independence and move towards a meaningful life. So, in a simple definition, recovery is a personal and ongoing journey of healing, growth, and restoration that enables an individual to regain control of their life, build resilience, manage challenges, and live a meaningful and productive life.
Wow. Awesome.
Amen.
I would like to just focus on that word she used, journey. Say recovery is a journey, it's not an event. It's not just stopping substance abuse, it's more than that, like we learned yesterday. Then we talked about recovery versus treatment. And he said that we do treatment every time. Like when you call youths to talk to them, you are treating them. But recovery is a journey. It's a continuous something that we keep doing. Also, we differentiated it from detoxification. Detoxification. We said detoxification is stabilizing the client. It helps to remove the drugs from the client. Or is that all the client needs? No. And that's where recovery management comes in. Recovery management helps to remove it helps to sustain the person. And we also talked about the reason people still relapse after treatment. The reason they still relapse after treatment. And what is relapse? Recovery managers, what is relapse? Like we learned yesterday. Did you gain any value yesterday? If you did, can you please say something here? Should I call your name? I can see Oluwakemi Oladimeji. Would you like to say something there? Or mute and contribute. We are trying to review what we've done in the past 2 days before we enter the new lecture. Okay. When people are not discharged properly, when they are not discharged properly, so the recovery manager needs to examine that person before discharging the person from rehabilitation. It may also relapse may come when the treatment ends. Relapse also comes as a result of unresolved triggers. Relapse happens as a result of emotional instabilities. Also, as a result of poor coping skills. When the client is not able to cope well, relapse comes. We have our assignments ready. The assignment we were given yesterday says, map a hypothetical client's journey from admission to 1 year after discharge. We also talked about the need for recovery management. And I want to ask us this question: who is a recovery manager? Who is a recovery manager? Who is a recovery manager? Do I have people here at all? Recovery managers. Who are you? We say a recovery manager is a trained professional responsible for coordinating a recovery journey of a client across booking to where? To relevance in the society. So it starts from booking, assessment, detoxification, stabilization, rehabilitation, recovery planning, family engagement, reintegration, discharge, aftercare. That aftercare is very, very important. When you discharge a client, you need to follow that person up for at least 1 year. Monitoring. Then before you are able to reintegrate the person back to the society.
Very much. Can I also just add something very quickly?
Go ahead.
So the recovery manager must of necessity be trained, branded, and must be certified as a professional who now works alongside clients from discharge through long-term recovery to ensure health, stability, and reintegration. So it's not just anybody that can just jump up and enter into that assignment. There must be training, it must be branded and certified to be able to function in that situation. So
thank you very much, recovery manager Shola. So before we call Dr. in, we just want to talk about what recovery manager is not. What recovery manager is not. Number one, he's not a medical doctor. Number two, he's not a psychiatrist. Number three, he's not a psychologist. Number four, he's not a nurse. Number five, he is not a social worker. Number six, he's not a counselor. Number seven, he's not a personnel of NDLEA, nor any other licensed professionals. Rather, the recovery manager coordinates, monitors, documents, connects, and strengthens the recovery process within the boundaries of professional competence and facility protocols. Thank you, everyone, as we welcome Dr. James. Come on, Afu.
Thank you so very much, Recovery Manager. We'd like to welcome everybody to the show this morning. This morning, we want to go through. You can hear me. Can you hear me? My voice is low. This morning, we are continuing on the third day of this program. Very pivotal, and it is very vital as recovery manager to know what we are doing, and as professional to engage from the place of knowledge. This is week one of this escapade, and it is so vital we get the lessons at once as a global recovery manager. We started about a few days back where we highlighted the need for this assignment through the usual popular gap analysis out there in the society, not only in the recovery psychosocial balance, in families, in homes, in the hospitals, and at various fora. People get the treatment, they get the so-called solution they need. And after the solution, they recline. They go back home to subside. They go back home to accumulate the same thing that brought them out in the first instance. And so it is pivotal and vital to help. Yes, a recovery manager is not a medical doctor, but he can also be a medical doctor by training. A recovery manager is not a psychologist, but he can be a psychologist by training. So everyone in the care profession can do recovery management. You may not be in the care profession, but you are personally having some aptitude for care. You are a people person. Then it behooves for you to take a course in recovery management. So recovery management is actually a career worth considering in any field. And we are starting from the place of health, holistic health in Nigeria, Africa, as we benchmark this same thing around the globe and around the world. So it's a privilege to be here to undertake in that procedure in Africa and in the rest part of the world. I remember somebody did ask yesterday that this appears to be a new course. I said, yes, it's new, it's not new. It's new to us in this climb because nobody has taught it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does exist. But because emphasis has been on just revive this person. Let him come back from whatever is the illness, physical illness, emotional illness. In fact, emotional illness is not being looked at all in our climb until the individual is down completely. It is then you will say, be encouraged, don't be emotional. And then people stop there. What is the word emotional containing? Nobody tells us. Oh, my emotion was so high and all that. And then we don't have healing places for emotion. We have for our bodies called what? Hospital. How about for our mind? Where do we call it? Where do we call it? Where some will say hospital, while some will say psychiatric hospital. But when you now talk about psychiatry, people say, God forbid, I reject that thing. Don't be my portion. Where we have care centers, psychosocial centers. We also have psychiatric homes for people who are mentally challenged and cannot coordinate himself. In one of these classes, I will tell you all the various categories of care giving and care centers so that you can start planning which one you are going to build. Every potential recovery manager who is involved in caregiving will eventually own a care center, packaged, managed to take on the world of care. That's where we're going. Doctor, what does it entail? So simple. It's not much about the money, but knowing what you are called to do and having some certain affiliation where it matters, and you find people join you in a worthy cause. So connect to us on Zoom, connect to us on Facebook, and let us hit the ground running. For now, we all know what it means to care. We all know what it means for recovery. The difference between rehab and detox, we all know about that. You have not been following us first day, second day. Please, after this class, go back and watch video 1 and video 2. Submit your assignment from anywhere in the world and let's rate you because it is a certification program. And at the end of the day, you are going to enjoy some posting to some platforms and places where you will demonstrate knowledge, learning in order to earn. So it's time to earn in order to learn so that you can eventually do what? Earn reputation, earn resources, move on by making other people happy, making homes happy. That is the cause to which we are called, making families happy, making everyone who meets you happy, delighted that they found you and that they met you. So today, we're going to session 2, week 1, and then we'll do session 3. We do session 3 as well. So what are we considering today? On a pivotal note, in session 2, we will be considering substance use. What is substance use?
I can't change it to frequency.
Chrome world, mute yourself. What is substance use? How about harmful use? How about dependence? What do they mean? What is treatment? You are going to understand that. And then, how about stabilization? How about rehabilitation? How about recovery? We are going to see reintegration and sustained recovery. Where does the traditional rehab and where should GRMS begin? We need to know all this today so as to engage on a pivotal note. So here we go. What is substance use? Give me that thing. What is substance use? Why do people use substance? Addiction recovery. Why do people use substance? People use substance because they have a situation. The good, the bad, and the ugly, for which they want to be able to manage. I'm happy I want to catch fun, and they are trying to catch the fun from the wrong side. Oh, I'm not happy, I'm sad, I'm low on emotion. And because he or she is low on emotion, he cannot see anything good in himself, in herself now, and he wants to see what he can do to aid himself from the outside. So very vital. I'll speak with him. So what is substance use? People use substance where I have this situation before, and because I have it again now, let me go and use it. So in proper stance, substance use refers to the consumption of a psychoactive substance. What are psychoactive substances? Drugs, whatever, that spills into your brain and has the tendency to cause harm if not properly applied by prescription. Just feel I can take it. They recommended it for me before. Now I can do it myself. Substance use alone does not automatically mean dependence or addiction, but your attitude matters a huge lot. The professional responsibility at this stage is to understand the pattern, the context, frequency, consequences, and risk associated with the person's substance use. Some people use substance without really knowing that every substance, psychoactive substance they use, can have a toll on their lives, on their health, on their coordination. They don't know it can affect their brain, their cells. It can affect their neurons. cells in the brain can lose coordination. It can lead to oversecretion of some certain chemicals in the brain that can make an individual malfunction. So early identification at this stage can prevent progression into more harmful patterns. So on a very critical note, substance use must be coordinated, guided, and directed. There's nothing bad in using substance on a professional note, but everything becomes bad when substance is using you. That is addiction. Oh, doctor, so and so drug was recommended, and when I use it, I got okay. Do you know, India hemp is a solution to something. There are times, in fact, some women, some of these, they are head stuff. There's one they use India hemp to do. Now, you don't say if women are using it to bake their hair, is it baking? Sorry, whatever. Then I can also chew it. India hemp is India hemp. You can use it for the hair under an instruction, and it brings out the effect. But without instruction, you are now using it through your mouth. It can cause some certain damages to you. And something you must know about psychoactive substances is that the effect don't show immediately, especially on the negative. It will release a little jive that will drive away your emotion and make it to color riot on a temporary note before you dive into violent behavior, violation. Before you dive. You see, the jive, most of the time people take from substance use, is tinier compared to the dive they suffer. So don't enjoy the jive in order to pay back heavily the dive for the dive. Jive, when you use it, the temporary stuff. So every recovery manager should know that the jive does not worth it. What is the reason? Because at the end of the jive, what are you going to do? You are going to dive into an ecosystem that is not profitable for you, not honorable for you, that will bring you down. You want to just get high. And you know after getting high, you are going to come down. So of what use getting high in that order when it will bring you down, 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 down. So substance use must be guided by a professional. Substance use must not be by self-medication. Substance use must not lead to harmful use. When does it become harmful use? When you overuse it. They say, take 2 mg. And you say, why 2? I can take 6. And you go ahead to ingest 6. Even normal prescription, you overuse it. That's substance abuse. Substance use, oh, I'm giving the prescription, but this thing is not working fast as I like it. Psychosocial healing is not like physical healing, medical healing. It drags. To bring an individual down, it drags. To raise an individual back to state, it also drags. oh, this person had psychosis. And you won't believe it. In 3 days, he recovered and is back to work. It's a lie. Several builds up and comorbid issues that have brought him to that terrain that we need to look into, rearrange him from the inside, stabilize his mood, where we need medically assisted therapy, we do it. Where we need the drugs to detoxify, we do it. Where we need to help him or her to bounce back and coordinate in his mind so that he can correlate and then communicate in order to what? Create. Those are all issues in recovery management. So, early identification at this stage can prevent progression into more harmful patterns. When does substance use lead to harmful patterns? When you can no longer do without using it. I just must use it. I can't be myself if I don't use it. Don't use substance to the point that the substance will now in turn back to start using you. Then you are in addiction. How about harmful use? Harmful use occurs when the substance use begins to produce significant physical, psychological, or social consequence. Every recommendation is supposed to make you well and okay. But the prescription now and recommendation, instead of making you well, is having some toll in your life. I'm not talking about the side effect of drugs. Or they say, go and use Nivaquine. And usually, when you use Nivaquine, what's the side effect? My body itches. My body itches. And because my body itches, I don't want it. That's not what we are saying. But we are talking about a situation where you just discover that the substance you are using is having some psychological effect on you, physiological effects, killing your libido, making your mind to go awry. You are beginning to discover that the social consequences are becoming grave. You then begin to withdraw. You begin to hear voices, things that are not part of your lifestyle is now beginning to afflict and affect you. So harmful use occurs when what you use is now beginning to use you to the negative. And people can see that this is a violation. It becomes a harmful use when it moves you out of your original definition and building a pattern that is not your lifestyle protocol. So I have to use drugs so that my boldness will increase. I can open my eyes to anybody. And you think that is okay? It's not okay. When you understand energy management in the proper order, then you will discover you don't need to take substance in order to be bold. All you need is to aggregate your 4 lanes of energy together and give a compelling affront from the place of deliberate creation. When you don't understand that and you think it is drug that will help you to be bold, you will take the jive for a short temporary moment, but what happens afterwards? The dive will dive you into something else that you cannot handle yourself. So very vital. The important issue is not merely that the person uses a substance, but that the pattern of use is producing harm. That is why we call it harmful use. Emotional harm, physical harm, psychological harm, behavioral harm. People talk to you, you take it out on them. You notice that you're always on edge when you use that substance. And you keep saying, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't really mean it. It's the devil. Every time it's the devil. If the devil is in the substance, then get rid of the substance. Very vital. Now, what is dependence? Remember, we are treating addiction recovery. So you need to know these elementary terms so that when you meet with a client on the field, in the hospitals, at home, in school, in your office, on the road, on the way, you can counsel. Though you are not a counselor, but every recovery manager has capacity to do counseling and taking it deeper than surface counseling. You are not a motivational speaker necessarily, but where it is necessary to gain entrance through motivation, please do it. And that's what we call motivation therapy. But motivation therapy doesn't stand alone. Hardly will you find a particular therapy standing alone in psychology or psychoeducation. They work together. Just like a particular addiction may not stand alone. For an addictive behavior to get reinforced, it needs some other maladaptive behavior. We call it to get reinforced. Eh? Do you see taproot that has no some other fibroid root? No. Every taproot has fibroid root. Maybe that's where we got the word fibroid for women. So, you are in an addiction, or somebody is an addiction, that's the taproot. Also, comb. You say, doctor, how do I comb? We are getting there. Just follow. Follow me, and I will make you a recovery manager. Hook, line, and sinker. So there are taproot, and there are what? Fibroid. As it is in seed planting, so it is in addiction and addiction recovery. So dependence represent a more established pattern in which the person's physical, psychological relationship with the substance becomes significantly difficult to control. You no longer can control it. You took your car key to go out. And because you are into dependence, what happened? You stop the car in front of your house and go in to take it first, even when you are already late. What is that one called? Dependence. Dependence means you can't continue life without looking for it. Is that life? No. You are in a meeting, official meeting, executive meeting. Excuse me, please, 2 minutes. And you enter where? The small room. What are you doing? You are smoking something. And they say, huh? Hey, Oga manager, huh? What happened? This special meeting? Don't you think everywhere will smell? You say, well, I'll do something. Shh, shh, shh. It's a depending variable. The person may experience strong urges, difficulty stopping, withdrawal-related problem, or continue use despite serious consequences. So this thing will damage your lung. You say, I know, but this steering. Let me use this one. This will be the, I promise you, this is the last time I'm going to use it. Just let me use this. Okay, after this. We've seen families becoming nervous wreck because of this. And you say, let's just pray and fast over it. Good. But after prayer and fasting, what do? Seek a therapist. Talk to a recovery manager. And we are raising a huge lot in Nigeria, beginning from this platform. So you are very fortunate to be part of the first tribe. If you make up your mind to follow us to the end and get certified, then you'll be happy you did. Dependence often requires professional assessment and appropriate structured intervention. Once a case moves from just mere use to dependence, it's no longer surface counseling. Surface counseling won't handle it. Surface counseling will treat it. Motivation won't do it. Doing education on it will not even do it, because we have professionals who are into addiction and they cannot come out. A pastor in America preached on addiction for 2 weeks and afterward committed suicide. So what are we saying? That's why you need professional who will do behavioral therapy and behavioral invasion to be able to cop out the elements of addictive behavior so that you can be free inside. When they are not free inside, they cannot catch fun outside. They will keep fighting themselves and struggling. So dependence is a bad stuff. It may not be psychoactive substance. You just cannot do without early morning tea. And if you have not taken tea, your day has not started. And you are depending on tea. So if I have not taken tea, my day have not started. My body will be shaking like this. Just because you just must take tea. Is tea bad? There's nothing bad in it. When a habit begins to control you, it's no longer called habit. It is what? Addiction. You can't do without it. It just must control you. Come rain or shine. A little spill of water and mud on your car. Cow, you rake. And say some odd and horrid things. And that is usual with you. That is an addiction to car. You say, whoever touched any of my children had touched my life. And I will go at any length to make sure you don't go scot-free. That is an addiction. So how about treatment? What is treatment of addiction? Treatment is the professional intervention stage. Professional what? Intervention stage. Not professional education stage. You can have a PhD in psychology and treat and teach addiction so well and yet not knowing what to do to walk somebody away. And the person will say, Prof just gave me lecture, but this thing still remains. He showed me how it moves, but how to get it out of me, I have not known. You say, oh, once people know, then they will be free. It's a lie. You need to know and to know how to use what you know. That is treatment. It is where qualified practitioners address the person's immediate clinical, psychological, behavioral, and social needs. Now, every treatment must cover these 4. What's the first one? Clinical. Clinical needs. When does it become clinical? When you can diagnose a situation and prognose a solution, it is clinical. Whether you have clinical tools or not, that looks like something hospital-like. If you come to Cyber Resources, for example, in our behavioral center and behavioral therapy session, you won't see heavy machines where we'll put human heads and press button and say, "Car, this is a clinic," and everywhere smelling iodine, smelling some antiseptic, deodorant, detoxifier, and all of that. No, you won't find. But we are clinical in our approach because we can carry out diagnosis and then do what? Prognosis. We can say, "Madam, this is the issue." We have our own system that we build. We have our own psychomotor frameworks that also works for us, through which we invade into situation and bring out what it is in order to profile targeted solution that solves problem. When you do that, who are you? You are a clinician, whether you hold stethoscope or not. So recovery managers, be prepared to do clinical work, not clerical, but what? Clinical work. You can check a situation and say, yes, it's there to this quantity and quality, and these are the effect of it. So treatment includes what? Clinical and then psychological. When does it become psychological? And why am I doing this? So that you know what to do in recovery management. It's not just to go up and down, carrying files and registering name. I'm a recovery manager. And they ask you a question, you can't answer. They say, "Sir, why am I thinking like this?" You will know that is psychological. "Why am I doing so and so like this?" You will know that is behavioral. There's something happening like this, I don't really know. You will know that is clinical. So a recovery manager's flows when he hears people. You don't just hear and nod your head, and you are not writing down. You are a quack. Practicing what? Quackery. Kemi, who are you? Quack. Tony, Mary Yeye, who are you? When you are just nodding head as if your friend came around and talking to you, you are a quack. And worst case scenario, when you are saying, yeah, true, you are not a therapist, you are not a recovery manager, but you are taking notes to be able to see which one is behavioral, which one is clinical, which one is psychological, and then which one is medical. In recovery management, please know your limit. Don't take over doctor's job, medical doctor, when you are not one. I said the other time, Dr. Mbanyekure handled a case like this. This was what he did. And you start writing what you don't know. You need therapy yourself. You need to be checked neck up so that we can be sure you are good how? Neck down. To be able to go how? Neck forward. So very vital. Treatment includes psychological and then behavioral. When you are handling addiction, these are 4 critical areas you look at. Where is the behavioral angle? What has become his attitude? What kind of attitude? Is A parading now? What does he do? How does he behave that he should not behave? Then social needs. What are his connections? Is he withdrawing? Is he isolating? Why is he isolating? So in diagnosis, you find out all this. And in cyber resources, we can train you to do this. Treatment may include medical management. He said, for now, for a while, I feel some pain inside by this side. Each time I touch it, I feel pain by this organ. Don't say you should go and jog. It's not your line. Jog 3 times. Raise your leg. When he has raised his leg, what does he expect? Don't guess. Then, treatment may also include counseling. Because when people don't know, they don't flow. It may also include psychotherapy. Now, what's the difference between counseling and psychotherapy? Are they the same? No. In counseling, you look at a case and you attempt to just solve that case. To say, okay, it is dark. This is how to make it light. That's counseling. But in psychotherapy, you are taking some diagnosis about the mind. Everything psycho talks about the what? The mind, the feelings, the emotion, and the attitude. You are working on this. And you are going to be able to see the case around the mind ecosystem to propose a solution, which we call therapy. So psychotherapy is very critical. And in psychotherapy, you have so many other therapies woven together. And a chief of it is called cognitive behavioral therapy, for which I was trained in Florida to do. Cognitive behavioral therapy. You can have dance therapy, talk therapy. You can have all kinds of therapy. So you need to know what therapy fits in to a particular situation for a solution. Not one size fits it all when it comes to psychotherapy or therapy. So very vital. Then you need behavioral intervention. You need education. Many clients don't know. That's why they pay for their ignorance. Now, when you are a recovery manager who don't write down, then you are just a celebrity. But when you write down, you articulate what is on ground, it will fast track your delivering solution. So where you need to do education, don't say Dr. James tells us that recovery management is not education. How will they follow you if they don't know? They need to know. But don't stop at knowing. 5T model tells you to begin from where? Teaching. And when you teach, what do? Education. What's the second T? Testing. And when you test, what do? Evaluation. That's what they call diagnosis. You evaluate. What's the third T? You do treating. That is called what? Intervention. What's the fourth T? You do trending. When you trend the result, you are saying, sir, this is how to apply this intervention, and it will work for you. That is called integration. And what's the fifth T? It is called trusting. When you trust, what are you saying? You are saying, now that you have used this thing and it is working, this is how to continue to use it, both for yourself and some other field. It is called execution. So every recovery manager is an expert in behavioral modification under the principle of 5T behavioral modification model. What's the first T, Yusuf? Teaching. Second T, Jennifer? Testing. Third T, recovery manager Stella Okorigbo? Treating. Fourth T, Kemi Oladimeji. And the fifth T, Mary Yeye, must trust it out. If you have not done these 5, your work is not complete as a recovery manager, and you are exposing your client to the probability for relapse. So very vital. In treatment, you look at family interventions too. And can I shock you, recovery managers in the house and in the diaspora? Don't do treatment without involving family. Because the guy didn't come from Saturn or Pluto going to Mercury on his way to Venus. He came from a family. Either his own nuclear family or the compound family, because we need accountability partner. A recovery manager does not work in isolation. He works with parents. He works with caregiver. He works with family members, guardian. Otherwise, that thing will not work. You won't know when the guy is misbehaving and deceiving you. Deceit is part of the symptom of psychosocial illness. And you know, it doesn't take them long to just tell you a lie. They have veered off from definition. They are now in violation. So the gap between definition and violation will always be occupied by strange character, strange attitude. That's why they will just lie without thinking twice. It's because there is a violation gap on the inside. This you will get to know later. Treatment is essential, but it is not synonymous with recovery. Treatment is an event, while recovery is what? A journey. So get your client to understand that. Doctor, we don't really need you. This rehab really did a huge lot for me these 3 weeks, these 3 months. Sir, when we need you, we will call you. That recovery managers, please know some of these alibis. Parents will give you, and your client will give you. Okay, doctor, thank you very much for your service. We will call you when we need you. What do they mean? When the boy is done, we will call you. So they are not vast. They are not vast in recovery management. They don't even know what it is. Even stakeholders don't know what it is. So you are the one who will take your time to explain to them, to say, sir, when you wait till you need me, it's already late. There will be a gap analysis, and so many things will enter. That's why what we do is to monitor and to see that he picks up. Don't call me because the boy is nosediving. Because you see attitude. Because every attitude you see, there's an attribute on the inside that fueled it, and it's not a day's journey. So, sir, as recovery is a journey, so also relapse is also what? A journey. So take your time and explain to them. Otherwise, you won't have service to do. They say recovery manager Stella Okoribo, your boy is still fine. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe you can call us next week. You say he's still fine. He's still fine. Who are you when you answer like that? You are a quack. Because they will try to convince you based on what they know and what they don't know. So take your time to say, General, thank you very much. But sir, in recovery management, it is so and so and so that it will not be what? So and so. Don't tell them one side. Tell them the 2 sides. That's behavioral violation that is treatable under therapy 302. So very vital. Treatment is essential, but it is not the same as recovery. Say, what are you talking about recovery management? I said this boy spent 6 months in rehab in Lagos and came and spent another 4 here. And you are still talking recovery. Let them know one leg is not enough. This guy has to recover his destiny. Where is destiny? inside and outside in future. And it is the work of recovery management to help people to future what is inside them and to also see the future. He's futuring now in order to face his future. That's what happens in recovery management. So very vital. I can go on and on in treatment, and I'm just reflecting here. I can go on and on about treatment, but you see, I have to just patch here and there. Often. Can go on and on to show you this thing. So now, what is stabilization? When do you stabilize a client? When does a client enjoy stability, not just sobriety? Most rehab centers talk about sobriety. Oh, is the boy sober now? And we're trying to increase and to make him aware of his condition. He is not yet aware why he was brought here. He's still blaming his dad and blaming his mom why they brought him here and wasting his time. He's not sober yet. Stabilization means helping the person reach a condition in which immediate physical, psychological, and behavioral risks are sufficiently controlled to permit further recovery work. You stabilize him. Somebody who is violent, for example, and you take him to a rehab, the first thing is to see how to stabilize him. It will need medically assisted therapy. It will need drugs, antipsychotics. It will need mood detoxifier, mood stabilizers. It will need all kinds of what? Drugs, injection, that can make him recover over time. It will need antipsychotic drugs, risperidone of this world, amisopride, all kinds of names there, so that as his mood comes down, then you start detoxification and all of that. That's not our work as recovery managers. We're saying, okay, people have done treatment, professionals have admitted and administered treatment. How does he go on to be his full package? Stabilization may involve managing withdrawal symptoms, reduce acute risk, improving emotional regulation, establishing routines, and creating safer foundation for continual intervention. Managing withdrawals. There are some drugs people go into that they find difficult to leave at once because they are not machines. But gradually, you can help them through reductive therapy and substitution. You can do without cola. And you can eat 3 bags under 2 days. There's no therapy that will say, okay, just stop at once. No. Maybe we'll reduce it to 10. From there to 5. While substituting with something else. That's why parents, when they take their wards to rehab places and whatnot, they immediately say, sir, when are we coming back for this boy? And the answer they get is, well, let's watch and see the rate of improvement with him. And some may not even condescend until after 2 months. You can't help it. Say, This boy spent 2 months, you're still saying you are still watching. What are you watching? Let's go and watch at home. We will tell you. Parents are so eager. And you say, a professional will not sit you down and tell you, and they will detoxify. They will just tell you, we are doing our job, and you see, your boy is cooperating. Once you hear, he's cooperating with us, we are getting him, and all of that. So many things are covered under his cooperating with us. They won't tell you he has stopped eating. They won't tell you bad news. They won't tell you how that he wants to kill himself, except where they want you to know that they are also going to handle suicidal thoughts and all of that, so that you can pay more money, and you must pay more money. So, in stabilization, a stabilized person is not necessarily a recovered person. You only stabilize him. He is now in control of his mood, of his emotion. That doesn't mean the emotion don't go awry at times, but at least he's in charge now. He knows himself. Stabilization creates platform upon which recovery can be built. So stabilizing is an inside-out thing, and then eventually it becomes an outside-in thing. What do I mean? In stabilizing your client, begin the work from inside. Work on his mind. Work on his feelings. Work on his emotion. Work on his psychology. And at the end, work on his activities. Don't start from activity. Then you are putting him in trouble, because the real activity is in the inside first. You want a liquid content inside the bottle to come out, and you are corking the bottle and shaking it and say, come out. It won't come out. So very vital. Don't shorten them outside. And that's where parents fail in some of these things they want to do to control their children. They lock up everywhere and shut the boy down, and to say, when you don't go out, you will change. He cannot change by not going out, because there's another ecosystem on his inside that is already constructed that you are not aware of. Then number 6, rehabilitation. What is rehabilitation? All these things are different from one another. Rehabilitation focuses on restoring or developing the person's capacity to function effectively. That is it. We're looking at the functional clause. We're looking at how well he's able to get focus, develop his capacity to be in charge of his own life. Does that mean he's perfect? Does that mean he can do all things? No. But you have restored. You are developing him to function with little or no help. Not the one he is saying, where is toilet? In the house he has lived for 10 years. Who are you? Looking at a child and saying, you came for somebody? That one is a case. So it may address behavior, psychological functioning, interpersonal relationship, life skills, decision-making, education, work, and readiness, and even social functioning. It's part of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation does not mean the person has to be locked somewhere and you say, we are rehabilitating him. No, it can even be rehabilitated in schools, in offices, depending on the severity of the case. We have violent cases. We have also what? Non-violent cases. Be able to know the difference. When the individual is behaving as to causing harm and havoc to himself and to his immediate environment, place, it needs a controlled environment. When an addictive behavior is so high that this guy can just not do without going to buy the so-called stuff, he needs a controlled environment. Once they forfeit internal coordination, I tell you what, external coordination will deep. So know this. When you see a guy who says, "Kai, I just must go out 2 times." It doesn't matter what is happening outside, he has to go. So keep him in a controlled environment. But for somebody who says, "Sir, naturally I even hate this thing, but somehow, I find myself there from time to time," then he may not need a controlled environment because he's ready and willing. So what do you do as a stopgap measure as a recovery manager? Show him few things he can do to contain before he sees you in the next therapy situation or in the next wellness visit. What is wellness visit? It is the art and science of tracing and tracking one in recovery. Through what? Visitation. To see how well he is. Where does he need to cross his T and dot his I? So it's called wellness visit. And in so doing, you look at what happened the last time. Where is he now? And where is he supposed to be? That's the wellness visit. And then don't ever live without leaving what? An impact and an assignment in wellness visit. In rehabilitation, the person is being prepared to function more successfully beyond treatment environment. So rehabilitation is not only at the facility, it's not only at the treatment environment. Rehabilitation still continue at home. But when we talk about drug rehab and all of that, then it should happen at the facility that is dedicated and apportioned to it. So that is it. So how about recovery? What is recovery in global recovery management system? Recovery is the continuing process of maintaining change while rebuilding a healthy, meaningful, and productive life. I say it again. It's a continuing process of maintaining what? Change. While rebuilding what? A healthy, meaningful, and productive life. Those 3 things must be there. Healthy, meaningful, and productive life. Once you are doing that, you are a recovery manager. It's a continuing process because recovery is a journey. So you continue. Not a one-stop shop. I say, where I have recovered him. There's nothing like that. You are recovering him. Recovery is the continuing process of maintaining change while rebuilding a healthy, meaningful, and productive life. You maintain that change as you rebuild the individual. It involves more than abstinence. It includes emotional stability, responsible choices, healthy relationships, productive activity, coping capacity, personal responsibility, and the ability to manage recovery risk. Look at what it involves. Number 1, emotional stability. Not just abstinence. Oh, this boy has recovered. He no longer does it. Please, that is foundational, but more to it. 1, emotional stability. How is his emotion stabilized? Does he pant up and down? We want to see. 2, responsible choices. How does he choose? How does he decide Is he spontaneous? Does he think before he act? Or he will just enter one shop and goody of 10 naira. They just tell him 50,000 and he pays on the spot. What about his impulsivity? You look at that for his choices. Then the third thing is healthy relationship. He can see somebody who is his mother's age and make proposal. You will know that this guy is not recovering. Your mother's age or friend. Say, I thought she's a single lady. I didn't know that lady is married. You look at how healthy are his relationship. He's beginning to befriend people who are 10 times lower than him. I said, these are my new friends. I like their styles. And then look at productive activity. It's part of recovery management. What activity does he do now? Then look at coping capacity. How well does he cope? For the first time his friend visited after 3 months of rehab, and they met him at home, he followed them to go and drink. That means his coping capacity is low. There's a gap analysis there that has not been blocked. Then you look at his personal responsibility. Can he shower on his own? Does he take responsibility? Is he kempt? Is he able to clean his room and look neat and nice? Or you have to tell him, John, have you taken your shower? I say, I forgot. He wants to eat food without brushing his mouth. You say, have you brushed? And he said, I cannot remember. You know, there's a case there. So you look at all of those things in recovery management. And then you look at the ability to manage recovery risk. There's a particular place I go to do recovery, and I was beaten. I had something thrown on me and all of that. Recovery is where the person begins to demonstrate that the changes developed during treatment and rehabilitation can survive in real life circumstances. That is it. What do? The package handed over at recovery center becomes what you manage at home in order to avoid what? Damage in the society, in the family community, and every other place. So that is about recovery. How about reintegration? Reintegration is the process of reconnecting the recovering person. Mark my word, recovering person with family, community, education, employment, social responsibility, and other meaningful aspects of life. I say it again. In reintegration, you are reconnecting by a process the recovering person with what? With who? First, family. Very critical. Don't do community reintegration without having a basic routine in the families, because we all came from families, from homes. Charity and clarity begins from where? From home. So from home to community. Who are his friends? What does he do? What community does he belong? Online, offline, and what? On-site community. It's part of rehabilitation. It's part of reintegration. Now, where rehabilitation stops in the centers is where reintegration begins. Then we're trying to look at employment, education, social responsibility, and other meaningful aspect of life. So what's the goal of reintegration? It is not simply to bring the person back to society only, but to help the person function successfully within society. It's not enough to say, oh yeah, go back to your work. You are now back to society. Have you supported him to function successfully without having to embarrass himself again, without having to display folly and show to people that he's not well? And they say, John, tell us, you are appearing not to be well, and all of that. And he's fighting just because they said he's not well. It means he's not well indeed. Reintegration, therefore, becomes a major test of whether recovery skills can operate outside of the controlled rehabilitation environment. That is it. Don't discharge anybody or approve a discharge in any rehab or in any facility when you have not carried out your rehabilitation check. And then from home, don't ask parents to just let him go out anyhow when you have not carried out your word reintegration check. Do you see how the two works? Reintegration and rehabilitation check, and then what? Reintegration check. They all matter a huge lot. So that is what you need to know about reintegration. That somebody just comes out of the rehab center or care center after some months or year. The first thing to do is not outside, it's inside. You must be able to reconcile him with family and create an ecosystem that enables him to function well, to own his own, become himself, and to build his life. So, reintegration therefore becomes a major test of whether recovery skills can operate outside the control environment or not. So, lastly on this note, what is sustained recovery? It refers to continued maintenance of positive recovery behaviors and functioning over time. How do you maintain positive recovery behaviors? This is how to wake up, when to wake up, how to do things, and he keeps doing it. It keeps to routine. In therapy, when you complain, it's because you are not complying. When you comply, you will not what? Complain. So how do you ensure that a recovery is sustained? Look at compliance level, confidence level, commitment level, and convergence level in your client. Compliance, commitment, confidence level, and commitment level. Commitment to assignment, compliance to instruction. Look at it. You told some teenagers, do it like this, like that. Then follow up to discover whether there is sustained recovery or not. And like we all knew yesterday, you don't need to be in a so as it were, a rehab to do rehabilitation. We even saw that even you need rehabilitation. As I'm standing now, I need some sort of rehabilitation. And what is it? Capacity to help me organize and appreciate a better version of myself. That is rehabilitation. Not until I go to rehab centers. It is not a place. It is an event, whether with or outside a controlled place. So don't take offense when they say you need rehab. You say, God forbid. I don't need it. So, sustained recovery requires continued awareness, self-management, support, and monitoring, timely intervention when risk appears. So, what are the key questions for today? Where does traditional rehabilitation system stop? And where should global recovery management system begin? That's today's question. Every day we issue questions so that you can appreciate the training and get on with the processes and the procedure. The question again, where does the traditional rehabilitation system stop? And where should global recovery management system begins? Traditional rehabilitation commonly reaches its former endpoint. Okay, I'm answering it already. Where the person is considered ready for discharge from the rehabilitation environment, but the person's recovery journey continues after discharge. The person still has to face family dynamics, community pressure, employment challenges, emotional triggers, relationships, responsibilities, and other real-life circumstances. He has to face it. And often, this creates the critical global recovery management systems intervention space. The transition from institutional rehabilitation to sustained recovery in the real world. So where are we bridging things in global recovery management system? GRMS should therefore begin before discharge. Before when? Discharge. We have told them at the rehab center, don't tell parents, and as soon as we are discharging your boy, then you will need to do recovery management. No, we should begin from there in order to keep pace with therapy, with treatment, and the rest of it. Then we continue beyond discharge, creating continuity between rehabilitation and life after rehabilitation. It does matter. So the central global recovery management system question becomes, what happens to the person after the institution has finished with the person? Recovery management begins when institutional intervention must connect with real life recovery. Very vital. So these are the issues we are talking about. And then maybe I should take question here and we'll consider whether we will do this session or postpone it till next week. Do we postpone? Okay, so we'll take our question now on addiction recovery module, where we have handled issues from substance abuse to sustained recovery. So the key question, where does the traditional rehabilitation ends and where should global recovery management system begins? We say right there at the rehab. In fact, at the booking desk. What do? We ensure that global best practices is what? Engaged. And then we can follow through the track to see that the right thing is done at the right time, while we keep the client company and also his parents. We keep them company so as to ensure that the gap, loophole, and vacuums that relapse we want to harvest is blocked. Thank you so very much for today. Any question? The floor is free, online, offline, on-site. Ask your question. Do we gain certain understanding? So please unmute and ask question in the house, everywhere. Question, please. Do we have full understanding?
God bless you, sir.
Thank you so very much.
I'm so grateful.
Who have just prayed for me now? Recovery manager who?
Toyin.
Okay, well, this person seems not to be part of us.
It's showing that I just prayed for you, sir. It's showing that I just prayed for you, sir.
You must always add recovery manager to your front
Oh.
name. Otherwise, you are not part of us. So who has just prayed for me?
Recovery manager Toyin Adelaja.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. Yes,
God
so
bless
any
you.
contribution, any question so far, when you know, you can use. Recovery manager Kemi Oladimeji. Recovery manager Olabisi Oni. Recovery manager Mary Yeye. Okay, recovery manager Jennifer OJ. Yes.
Doctor, I have 2 questions.
Use your mic.
The mic has been disconnected.
So if you have any question, send it to the chat box or on mute.
Bluetooth mode.
Yes. Ask your question.
Thank you, sir. So I have 2 questions. What should one do if their usual coping strategies are no longer working? And 2, how can one create a personal relapse prevention plan?
Thank you very much. What should one do when you discover that a particular coping mechanism has gone extinct, obsolete with your client? Use IDEA method. Identify why it failed to work. Identification. Why is it failing to work? Then define the gap you can now see. Definition. IDEA method will tell you. Identify why it stopped working. Definition. Define the gap you now can see. Letter E, evaluation. Evaluate the impact assessment on the individual. It's not making him dizzy. It's not doing this and this and that. Upon these 3, you will now administer some newer coping mechanism that will not only block the existing gap, but motivate him to comply to therapy. That is the answer for the first question. IDEA model will bail you out. And the second question is what?
How can one create a personal relapse prevention plan? The A of IDEA.
Administration of therapy or application. How do you drop what? Anti-relapse plan or relapse prevention plan. Whatever you are drawing up, ensure that you don't allow for gaps, loopholes, and what? Vacuum. So where do you begin from? Begin from the place of therapy, the place of rehab, and trace things down to the house to ensure what? Coherence, commitment, conversation, communication, and then convergence. Don't stop at convergence. Go for creative ideas that will engage the energy of your client, that will make him busy inside out. And then have time for co-relationship, where you listen to him, hear him out, and build a lifestyle routine that develops the individual consistently and constantly. Monitor, supervise, and then be ready to accommodate the good, the bad, and the ugly that you see in your client. With that, and you don't give a gap, with that coordination, you are building an anti-relapse plan. Call from time to time. Know his frailties, know where he is doing well, know where he's not doing well. Find out why, so that you can show him how. Don't be critical, judgmental, and condemning. Rather be empathetic, solidarizing, and sorting out issues. Thank you so very much. Any other question? Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to thank you very much, sir, for
Can you start again, sir?
Recovery Manager Oladipo Akoli. I want to thank you very much, sir, for the very critical Recovery Manager Oladipo Akoli. I want to
Okay.
thank you very much, sir, for networks. I think we still need to do a good job. And how do I mean? From your radio broadcast.
Yes.
91.5.
Yes, FM.
Yes, I think there's a very strong need to make appeals to parents. All the things we are saying here, I will still hold on to this saying that says prevention is better than cure.
True.
If any parent observe certain strange behaviors in their children, they shouldn't just allow it to lie like that. And from time to time, I want them to have conversations with their children to really know that it is not just providing money, and it is not making them comfortable at all times, but and they should particularly endeavor to know how well they are doing.
Roundabout.
You know, have seen certain short videos of people that have abused drugs, and it is so scary what I saw. You know, it is best for those children not to even venture into taking those drugs and taking them, and then they begin to, look for ways to rehab them. It is not funny. So parents still have to do a great job. They are not to rest until they make sure that their children are well placed and doing well in life. So that they don't just take things for granted. There's so much problems out there, and parents just need to be on their toes. Ensure the kind of if they don't like certain friends that their children keep, they should be able to converse with them that who is this person? Where does he come? Where does he or she come from? And then can we know the friend? Even the father and the mother of the child can sit down in the sitting room and they engage the friend. It will do you a lot of good when you even become friends with your children's friends. That's just my observation.
Thank you very much. The case is well noted. And as we do parental psychoeducation, we'll hammer it so critical. So in absence of question, let's take the day's assignment down. How do I intend to build an anti-relapse protocol in my recovery management plans? Write the question down again. What is my plan to build an anti-relapse protocol in my recovery management plans? So can you hear me now? So thank you so very much for today. Submit your 3 assignments, and then we'll take it from there. Mary Yeye, you're welcome to the show. Can you show your face? We're meeting you for the first time. We would like you to introduce yourself. Okay. Thank you so very much. Enjoy your day and God bless.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir. Thanks for